Malaysian Police Inspector General, following Tony Abbott's comments, responded by saying the claims that it was murder-suicide couldn't be verified, coming back to your point about massive confiscation if it were, unless the plane was found. But Byron, how convenient was that? Because pilots in the know like you constantly said they were searching in the wrong place.
Yes. I mean, I've demonstrated twice in Boeing 777 simulators a glide of about 100 miles. If you remember the February 2020 documentary by Sky News, I demonstrated with Peter Stefanovic in the right seat a glide of about 100 miles, which would put it just south of 39 south in the latitude in the southern Indian Ocean. Now, they refused, the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, to search there.
That's
Instead,
right.
they went in the opposite direction.
And still have refused. So wasn't Sir Angus Houston head of the Australian-led search for MH370? And that's the search that we've already agreed was compromised. They went in the wrong direction. Who dreamt up the notion that the plane had crashed west of Perth? I mean, Houston said, quote, the surface search went on longer than normally would be the case, and that was because of sensitivities from our partners. Now, after the search was called off, Houston's deputy, Judith Zilke, said, the biggest thing I've learnt from being involved in the search was actually the huge cultural differences between the countries involved. We were, in effect, dealing with China as much as we were dealing with Malaysia. It's important to remember that people are culturally the way they are for a reason. Now, the plane was en route, Byron, from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, hence China and Malaysia being involved. Houston's on the record as making very sympathetic observations about China, saying things like China is not an enemy. Do you reckon this affected his judgment here?
Oh, I absolutely think so, yes. It's...
But nothing can confirm the intellectual shortcomings of the whole Western world more than its willingness to accept that a modern Boeing 777, which you know backwards, can vanish without criminal interference of some kind. And Houston is one of Sir Angus Houston, one of the people suspected of this naivety.
Yes. He was on a pilot's course in the RAAF behind me. He was put in charge of the search. He headed the Joint Aviation Coordination Centre in March and April, in April and May and July of 2014. And then he was called away with Julie Bishop to look after the MH370 search.
Well, let's just finish this up here. Look, let's just sum this up. Because what you've established, I wanted to speak to you tonight because this bloke knows that kind of plane backwards, inside out. And basically, from everything that he knows and his colleagues know, they've simply said, this very expensive, hundreds of millions of dollars, the search went in the wrong direction. So just finally, Byron, where do we go from here? Is there, we celebrated, or sorry, honoured 200 people, 202 dead people in Bali. What about the fate of 238 people, 6 of whom are Australians, for whom no finality exists? Where do we go from here?
Look, I wrote in the Australian back in 2016, there had to be a royal commission because they were searching in the wrong area. Us pilots knew, and I was told by an informant in the Joint Aviation Coordination Centre that they had knowledge that the captain was responsible, that the FBI flight plan, which was supplied to the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, they denied it existed for nearly 2 years. Yet it's leaked to me. I have it in my possession. The Australian Federal Police won't touch it because our barrister was supporting us pilots says the Australian Federal Police are gun.